my interest in photography began while on the university days. And I was actually starting to write first. I started with journalism, but writing was too easy, so I turned into photography. There is a moment, and the moment is pretty much exactly 30 years ago. I moved to Kathmandu, Nepal. My wife got a job with UNICEF there, and I was sort of half and half thinking, how do we proceed? But then we read her contract, and it had $400 for spouses as a supplement, which I took as an artist grant, which is back in '95 in Kathmandu, 400 US brought you you were well covered. And because of the UNICEF angle, we had the possibility to I could bring all my equipment in, flashlights and tripods and cameras, and I had a deal with the Finnish gallery that I can make an exhibition there if I want to. And the situation we are talking about January 1995, when Netscape was actually released, so it was days before the internet. And the images you had from Nepal were twofold. You had the NGO images, black and white images of vaccination lines, or on the other hand, you had the Lonely Planet images of smiling villagers in front of the mountain range. And Kathmandu was something totally different. It was something, it was a stinking, growing Asian city where people were hushing away sacred cows because they were lining up fiberglass to make data connections. And I started wondering that somebody has to tell this story, or because the images were missing, but I didn't know how. Until I went, all good diplomatic spouses, I went to the gym, I was on my training bike, I was watching around me, and I saw a group of young kids, young gentlemen who were pumping iron, and I understood nobody has ever made a photograph of Nepalese bodybuilders. And the Lasimpat Fitness Center, I photographed it in January '95, 30 years ago, and that kind of set the tone. They were so communicative with each other. They were so supportive with each other. And I was also thinking about the group element there, because most of them were training for tests to be Gurkhas. That was the biggest foreign income back in '90s for Nepalese men. That was, if you got into the British Army, you served your time and you came back with a super pension, and you could provide for all your family for the rest of their lives. So these guys were super serious about their training, but at the same time very supportive with each other. And that kind of led me thinking about the groups we all belong to. Did we want it, or if or not? It's a combination. It's kind of a half and half. In some of the situations, there's some kind of strategy or some kind of guidelines that I've thought of. Like, for instance, I was working in Paris, and my idea, the whole thing kind of started with the fact that I found that in the 14th century Paris, the population of the city doubled, and the same thing happened in the 20th century. So I was thinking, if I could find nowadays I can find the groups which existed in the 14th century, or their kind of followers, like sign painters. Obviously the people who put up the posters, JCDecaux, the big advertising firm, water sellers, pharmacists, and so on. But then when I came across of a group of roller skating policemen, obviously I had to photograph them. So I mean, theory is practical only up to a certain point. There's some groups that come again and again. I seem to find myself photographing hairdressers because they are kind of always a bit avant-garde. They're a bit more sort of fashionable and more take care of themselves. And funnily enough, somehow lifeguards. I don't know. I swim a lot, so I mean, I guess the pool environment is something I find myself specifically somehow interesting. And I have a pretty good collection of industrial guards as well around the world. Well, here in Mexico City, I've been here for 1.5 weeks now, and we've managed to make 10 groups, and I'm really excited to see how they come out. I still work on film, so at the moment we're still on it's Schrödinger's film. I mean, it's either there or it's not there. But let's say with the experience, I can tell that maybe the lucha libre wrestlers or the heavy metal group I photographed on Saturday in this thing now, where they sell heavy metal things. It's been the same camera for all these 30 years, and it's a 50-year-old Hasselblad, and the lens is very specific, and nobody has made a digital back that would produce the lens, the qualities of the lens the same way than film. So, and if Hasselblad would make it, I wouldn't be able to afford it anyway. So. It's the films, I photograph on film, and the films are scanned, and after that, they are printed on inkjet printers. I mean, obviously, I'm a member of the happiest nations in the world. Of the world. I've went to the best schooling system in the world, so and these affect me enormously. But on the other hand, I was a few years ago I was thinking a lot about the kind of the status, that who am I to photograph people of different countries or different cities, as I like to put it. And then one morning I opened my Instagram and I checked hey, I got 100 new followers? No, 150, 200, 230. What's? And then I got an email from Kathmandu, from the dear friends at Photo Circle, which is arranges Kathmandu Photo Biennale, that an South Asian site had Brown History had published my Kathmandu portfolio, and never mind the followers, but I mean for me the most interesting at the moment was the feedback, the comments, and of about 400 comments, none were negative. They were sort of like hey, at you, and you check this and check that, and all of a sudden, during the afternoon, it changed. It was suddenly at that and that. Are you in this image of Miss Nepal finalists of 1995? Yes, that's me. It was a great evening. That's my uncle. That's my grandfather. So, funnily, I had been photographing a family portrait, family album Kathmandu, of a very specific amount of time, and I was so happy of doing that. I mean, my aim is to photograph in every city in the world, So I mean, it's basically I'm just trying to do as much as I can. I try to live forever so I can make it. No, the series actually gets better the more images there are, and currently there's a show in Helsinki which is relatively small. I mean, it has 80 images of the series, but somehow the people who've seen even closest ones are totally like well overwhelmed about the fact, seeing them so many of them together, and obviously the more I can sort of show my work, the better.